What's happening, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk, the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. I'm your SWAC tour guide, Charles Wells, aka C Wells, and I'm just coming at you very, very quickly. Just want to recap the Southern Valley game from Sunday. I'm not gonna waste too much time because we have a Week 5 preview coming on Wednesday and a live edition of SWAC Smoke coming on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to check those out as usual. The socials are in the description: facebook.com/SWACtalk, instagram.com/SWACtalk, SWACtalk76@gmail.com is the email address. If you'd like to show a little love to the channel, you can hit the Cash App, $SWACtalk. Anything will be appreciated. Much thanks to that. If you haven't done so already, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the page. We're doing pretty well on subscribers. The number is growing rapidly, so I'd like to thank everybody for that. Hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to any content that I upload. And like the video, share them, and feel free to comment, man. Just get in the comments. I respond to almost every comment, so just hit me up and I'll hit you back. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this game recap because this is all I'm going to talk about today. Southern defeated Mississippi Valley 38-25. This was a very odd game to an extent. Southern drove the ball at the start of the game. Got in the red zone and actually scored a touchdown. It was called back for holding. Well, let me rewind. Southern drove the field, got stopped on fourth down. Got stopped on third down. Valley jumped off sides on fourth down, gave Southern a first down. Southern would score a touchdown, called back for holding, ended up kicking a field goal. Both teams kind of went back and forth for a minute. Valley drove the field, got them a touchdown, and then Southern scored 21 unanswered points in the second quarter to take a 24-6 lead into the half. And at that point, Southern appeared to be rolling. They appeared to have kind of worked out their tackling issues other than their first drive. Other than that, they shut Valley down in the first half. Second half, Valley gets the ball to start the second half, immediately drives 75 yards for a touchdown. Southern responds. Valley scores again on another drive after Southern scored. They went for two at that point and did not get it. Southern would score again, and then Valley would drive the field and score one more time in the fourth quarter and go for two and not get it. And then Southern basically held on to basically win the game with a couple big fourth down stops by the defense. And, they ran out the clock. Fourth quarter, Southern, to me, did not play well. Second half, the defense definitely did not play well. They missed a lot of tackles. They were out of position on a lot of plays. And they Valley screened them to death. Valley wide receiver screened them to death and ran a lot of draws and just really took advantage of Southern's aggressiveness. And the fact that they were so aggressive, they put themselves in bad positions to make tackles, and Valley made them pay. Valley is a decent quarterback and a decent offensive line from having a very solid offense. Caleb Johnson is one of the best running backs I've seen in the SWAC. I mean, if you haven't seen this guy run the ball, you need to watch him. Yeah, he doesn't get any attention because he plays for Valley, but he's a legit all-SWAC performer. He had a very good game against Southern. He made a few guys miss. He did get stopped in the backfield a few times, but that's mainly because their offensive line isn't that good. But he's a guy who is definitely, he could start on a lot of teams in the conference. So don't sleep on him. Caleb Johnson is definitely a great talent in this conference, and don't sleep on him. That Valley defense is salty. They just, they give up big plays. Southern was able to find some things that worked, and they hit them for big plays. Southern found success through the air to an extent that they hadn't done this year. They threw for 235 yards and 5 touchdowns. Bubba McDaniel got the start, and now he is being named the starting quarterback after last week. Coach said Skelton was the guy, so we're gonna see. I don't really want to see musical quarterbacks, but if you're gonna turn the ball over, then you need to go with the guy who's gonna take care of the ball. Now that doesn't mean you rule Skelton out anymore, but for now they're going with McDaniel, so we'll see. The Southern running game continued to be strong, 223 yards on the ground, 40 carries, 5.6 yards per carry. Valley, 125 yards rushing, 3.6 yards per carry. Passing, 18 to 27 for Valley, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Total offense, Southern 458 on 66 plays, 6.9 yards per play. No fumbles, no interceptions, so no turnovers for Southern, and 8 penalties for 46 yards. A much better game when it comes to penalties and turnovers for Southern. Valley 335 on 62 plays, 5.4 yards per play. They fumbled twice and didn't lose either one of them. They had one that could have been a fumble, but it was ruled. The quarterback was down. Valley had 6 penalties for 44 yards, so not a lot of penalties in this game, so that was definitely good. Southern 2 punts for 44-yard average. Valley 4 punts for 38-yard average. Southern had the time of possession edge. Third down, Southern 5 of 12, Valley 5 of 11. Fourth down, Southern 1 for 3, Valley 0 for 2. Both teams were 4 for 4 in the red zone, and Southern had 2 sacks on the night. Valley no sacks. So honestly, I think Southern's offense, other than a couple of drives where they stalled out, and a couple of horrendous drives in the fourth quarter that they just did not do anything, I thought the offense played really well. Bubba McDaniel did a good job in his first SWAC start, but the offense did enough to win this game going away. The defense kept Valley in the game, but Valley took advantage of all opportunities Southern presented them. So I'm not gonna sit there and act like Valley didn't make no plays, because they made plays and they played hard. They were fired up. They got after Southern. They just did not have enough to close it out at the end. But individually, Bubba McDaniel, 18 of 26, 235, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. His longest pass on the night was 46 yards. Jelani Eason, 18 of 27, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns. Long was 33, and he was sacked twice. Kobe Dillon, that's a name that I want you guys to remember at running back. I don't know how many carries he'll get once Sims is back. Craig Nelson got banged up in this game. But Sims, Nelson, and Ben are your top 3 guys. But Dillon's a guy who came in as a quarterback. He started this game since Ben was suspended for the half due to a targeting in the McNeese game. But he ran for 110 yards on the night, 109 yards on the night on 13 carries, 5.4 yards per carry. Brandon Hinton also filled in. He's a receiver, so he ran the ball 5 times for 37 yards. Ben 11 carries for 45 yards in the second half. So Southern's gonna run the football. That's what they do. They ran the ball pretty well. They hit some big runs on the night. But Valley did a good job of being aggressive and stopping them also. But Southern was able to make the plays that they needed to. Caleb Johnson, 87 yards and a touchdown. Eason, 25 yards on 10 carries. And that's the bulk of that. Jamal Washington was the leading receiver for Southern with 7 catches for 90 yards. Ethan Howard, 4 catches, 61 yards. Southern had 5 guys catch touchdowns, and those were the 5 guys that caught passes. So they all caught a touchdown in that game. Valley, 3 touchdowns to 3 receivers. Jarius Clayton, 6 catches, 109 yards. He had a really solid game. Ja'Cory Rankin, 35 yards and 5 catches. Defensively, Papillon led Southern with 7 tackles along with Cam Peterson. He also had seven tackles and a half a sack. He had 3 tackles for loss, so a big game by him. That kind of gets overshadowed by all those missed tackles that the defense had. Jordan Lewis, he had 5 tackles on the night, 3 tackles for loss and a half a sack. Jalen Ivey, a sack and a tackle for loss. Interception was by Jordan Eastling. Glenn Brown, 5 tackles also for the team. Valley was led by Jeremiah Kane with 10 tackles on the night. Also, Valmy Swanier, he also had 10 tackles. He had 8 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. Crane also 1 tackle for loss. Keontae Daniel, 6 tackles. Dion Reed, 6 tackles and a half a tackle for loss. Gladney, half a tackle for loss and 4 tackles. Kenneth Martin, 3 tackles and a half a tackle for loss. Valley, like I said, Valley played well. This was a game that, if you look at it from one side, is a little disappointing because you didn't blow these guys away. If you look at it from the other side, Valley played well. They put themselves in position to make this a closer game, and they did that. Um, I'm just gonna take a couple seconds to talk about how I feel, because I was at the game, and I'm a Southern fan. I was not happy coming out of that game. If I would have did this show yesterday, it would have been me sitting there staring at the camera and probably mad curse words coming out of my mouth. I left that stadium so upset. I felt like we lost because the defense just gave up so many big plays that I felt like the game had slipped away from Southern. But sitting back, watching the game again, and thinking, it was just a solid game by both teams. You can't go into games expecting to blow people out, and then when they make plays, you feel slighted. But I did see some things that Southern definitely has to fix going into the bye week. Number one is tackling. Number two is being in the right positions on defense. A lot of times the defense was out of position, which led to them reaching at the players, or they would be in position and then they would dive out. They would just not be in the right spot to make a tackle, and the guy would make one move and be gone. Against a better offense, that's going to get you killed, and you're probably going to lose. Southern had a little margin for error in this game, so that didn't impact the game in a losing fashion. But that's something that has to be cleaned up. I'm still seeing some issues to me from the sidelines. There was a play that the team was substituting on and off. Guys didn't know, where to line up. That happens. People get confused on defense or whatever. But you had, 3 or 4 guys coming in, 3 or 4 guys coming off. Guys just, not knowing. And they should have called a timeout to get that rectified. You're winning. You don't need to give Valley any free yardage because they were in the red zone. You need to make those kind of decisions and just, take the timeout. That falls on somebody on the staff to be aware of that kind of stuff. And last, discipline. Southern is still not a disciplined team to me. They got to stop in the second quarter against Valley and force the punt, and the guy tries to dive over the top of the up men on the punt team. 15-yard penalty, Valley gets a first down. Now, this was the first game of the season that Southern did not have a targeting penalty, so that's good. But there's still a lot to work on. I'm still at a wait and see mode with how Coach Rollins is doing. Some things he's doing well, and obviously he's gonna make some mistakes as a first year coach. So I try to weigh his performance on that. There's a lot of expectations on Southern, so that doesn't help. But if this team is gonna be a championship team, they have a lot to clean up. They have some very tough games ahead of them. The West is gonna be tough. They still have 2 tough East Division teams, and it gets no easier. But a bye week is here. Valley gets North Carolina Central for homecoming. I feel like they got a shot if they can play well. They'll be at home. That'll be their first home game, so they have that opportunity. Other than that, like I said, this was an ugly game to me. I'm as a Southern fan, I'm happy that Southern won. As a SWAC football fan, I'm glad that Valley showed up and played a good game. They didn't give up and they fought, because you don't want to see nobody lay down. And Valley did not lay down. Southern, helped them a little, but Valley took advantage of every opportunity they had. So salute to Valley. And this team is gonna win some games. They may not win more than 2 or 3, but they're gonna beat somebody this year. So don't be surprised when it happens. So with that said, like I said, Week 5 preview coming on Wednesdays. Live edition SWAC Smoke, 6 p.m. Central Time on Thursday. So check that out before the Pine Bluff Prairie View game. We'll talk about all the action from the week. So with that being said, I'm C. Wells. I'm signing out. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I will holler at y'all later.